Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, we're live. We're in the studio, so get involved in the chat and the comments. Going to be talking about all the latest Manchester United news. Going to be talking a little bit about Ruben Amorim. He's given another interview. He loves an interview, doesn't he, Ruben Amorim? Where he's talking about perhaps making some tactical changes. The system has become the buzzword, hasn't it, over the last 12 months. So he's been looking at that. Maybe there is going to be a tweak. We'll see ahead of the Crystal Palace game, or maybe even at the Crystal Palace game, whether he's going to put that into sort of operation. Also, there's a few other bits and pieces doing the rounds with transfer rumours, as you would expect. And we can still laugh at Liverpool, can't we? We're still allowed to. I know we did it on Paddock Live last night, and I know United are rubbish, but Liverpool are even more rubbish, and it's still very, very funny. Good to see loads of people in the chat already. Real recognises Real. Kevin Credibly, Way of Weird. Akash K says hello as well, and he's also saying, morning folks, can we have some positive news to talk about this morning? We'll try and find some positive news. I mean, it's a bit doom and gloom at the minute, isn't it? Because obviously we waited ages for this international break to end. We have Everton at home, they go down to 10 men and we lose to them, so it's not much happiness going on at Old Trafford this morning, but hopefully that will change this weekend. We'll have to wait and see. So let's talk about this Ruben Amorim interview and what he's been saying. So this is a quote. I think obviously you can see this is from the Evening News yesterday, but it's taken from an interview he gave to Tactics at Manchester United while confirming that he is willing to tweak the team's approach to win games. Amorim has steadfastly stood by his 3-4-3 formation since his appointment from Sporting Lisbon, saying that not even the Pope could persuade him to change United's tactical system. The formation has been contentious, but Amorim was named Premier League Manager of the Month in October after overseeing wins against Sunderland, Liverpool and Brighton. And then goes on to say United have started November with 2 draws and a defeat to Everton, who claimed 3 points at Old Trafford despite playing for 77 minutes with just 10 men due to a sending off. Amorim was accused of being stubborn against Everton, but he has insisted he is adaptable. DAZN Portugal has launched a new Q&A segment on YouTube where fans have the opportunity to ask questions to the biggest Portuguese figures in world football, and Amorim was the first guest. Asked whether he would return to his mobile attacking style he implemented at Sporting, where there was no fixed striker and the front line would constantly rotate, although Gyökeres was the first choice striker during Amorim's time there. The shape was built around rotations, with Gyökeres asked to drift wide, link play and drop deep. Amorim said, we did it against Liverpool, it wasn't with Brian and Bumo, it was with Cunha, and it's an option that we have. And nowadays, everyone, I think, not only in the English league, but in the Portuguese league, in all leagues, there's a great variation in how things are structured. Goes on to say, we might say it's 4-4-2, but 5 minutes later it's 4-3-3 or a 3-4-3, and therefore I'm willing to do anything contrary to what people may think, what many people think, that I'm too fixated on one thing. I simply start with a basic foundation, but obviously we can use it in the future, and we've already thought about that with Brian because he's very strong in transitions. Look, I feel like we go through this every time we lose, don't we? We go through this sort of the system. Me and Joe did a video on it. We talk about, you can get rid of that now. We discuss whether Ruben Amorim is too fixated on the system. He gives interviews or comments which you can interpret in either way you want. He's given interviews where he said, like, as it was quoted there, about the Pope, couldn't even get him to change. Then he's given other interviews or the same interview where he'll say, it's all fluid, things can change, I'm always willing to change. So it's a bit of a funny one, isn't it? Because it's like, where do you stand on it? Is this guy ready to change? Do you think, well, he is, he's kind of said that, or do you say, but on the other hand, he has said that he's sort of sticking with it? I think the system within the game changes. I think it often starts, though, with the 3-4-3. We know it does. We know he loves his 3 centre-backs and his wing-backs. And you have seen times within a game where he's altered it slightly. But that, by and large, is the way he plays. And I think people will be okay with that if we're winning football matches. People were okay with it after Anfield, after the Sunderland game, after the Brighton game. It's when you start, or when you stop winning matches, that people automatically look at the system. And we have to remember as well, this isn't anything new. This is a manager who's been here for 12 months now. I think he's lost, I think he's won 9 Premier League games during that time, something like that. The record is pretty woeful. So you're always going to be open to criticism. You're always going to be open to people going, it's this system. It isn't working because you've just finished 15th and you're currently sat in 10th. The way it silenced those critics is just get results. I know that's the most obvious thing anyone can say, but that's what you've got to do. And we were doing it for a little while in October, hence the reason he got Manager of the Month. However, since then, we've not won. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Do you think it's the system? Do you think it's overplayed? What do you make of Ruben Amorim's comments? Do you think they are a little bit contradictory? Let me know. I'm curious to see what people think. Akash K says, yeah, Jay, people will forgive a lot if we are just winning games of football. Yeah, I agree. It's one of those, isn't it? If you're winning, it's fine. Kevin credibly says, nice of the Scousers to try and cheer us up. Yeah, that was nice of him, wasn't it? To we'll get to that in a minute. I've not forgotten about that just yet. Let's talk about the squad that Amorim's got. So this is in the Mirror from last night. Man United Chiefs verdict on Ruben Amorim's £200 million splurge says it all. As transfer plan made. Ruben Amorim was heavily backed in the summer transfer window, spending upwards of £200 million. But Manchester United bosses know that his squad can still only do so much. This is from Sam Mead. It says Manchester United Chiefs accept that Ruben Amorim's squad is still limited, despite allowing him to spend more than £200 million on new players in the summer. The Portuguese boss, off the back of the club's worst ever Premier League showing, brought in Benjamin Sesko as well as Cunha and Mbumo for a combined fee of over £120 million. Senna Lomans also came in and has made the number one shirt his own. Despite the quality now available to him, those at Old Trafford are tempering their expectations, acknowledging that Amorim can only do so much with the team he has. A number on positions still need to be strengthened before the head coach can be expected to produce regularly. Yeah, I mean, look, we kind of know what we need to do, don't we? We know that, for starters, the players we've got should be doing better. That's a given, right? I don't think that's good enough that, the players that we have got have overseen some of the results that we've got. We should be a lot better. But also, we are short in certain areas, mainly in midfield. We're too reliant on Casemiro. If you're going to play two midfield, which the manager seems pretty much determined to do, then can you rely on Casemiro, who can only play 65, 70 minutes most games? Probably not. You need an extra midfielder. Also, wing-backs have suddenly become another issue again. Are the wing-backs good enough? Are they doing what you need them to do? I think the jury's out, really, innit? I like Ahmad at wing-back. I think he does a good job, but he's been playing at a 10 for some games as well. Dorgu looked good in pre-season. Hasn't quite got going this season. There's a lot of question marks around him. Seems to have gone backwards. Mazraoui, is he really a wing-back? Probably not. Luke Shaw doesn't seem to be an option at wing-back either. It seems he's just a left centre-back or he's nothing. So it's all very confusing at the minute. It just is. It's like, just how many players do Manchester United need? What is going on at Manchester United? Do we need, just a midfielder and a wing-back, or do we need more than that? Let me know what you think. We just seem miles off it, man. It's so annoying. Because in October you thought, okay, maybe something's happening, and now we just feel like we're back to square one. Talking of being back to square one, there's a report out that Manchester United, I think, have come bottom of a sort of table in terms of value for money for signings over the last 10 years or something. So Manchester United get worst value for money on signings in the world after squandering $359 million, stats boffins say, and another Premier League club joins them in Hall of Shame. The weird thing about this is that, not that United have wasted loads of money. I think what they do here is they look at how much you've spent and what those players are worth. And we are on a net negative. So you can see it there, minus $359 million, meaning they have severely overspent over the last 5 years, not 10 years. And I think if you go down, I think you can see the table of there you go. So the top 5 best and worst clubs value balance since 2021. Top 5 best clubs: Real Madrid plus 511 million, Eintracht Frankfurt, Villa and Brighton. You kind of expected Brighton to be there or thereabouts. Villa's a surprising one, but I suppose they have bought some decent players, and they tend to get players around the sort of, not cheap, but they don't spend excessively on one player, do they? And Paris Saint-Germain, there's a surprise there, but they've got good players. And they bought players for decent amounts of big, not huge money, some of them are quite big money, but also players that I think if you're able to sell them now, they get a lot more money for. And then on the other side of it, you see United there, minus 359 million. Al Hilal, they won't be bothered, will they? They're just, they're spending money. They're not bothered about whether it's cost effective or whatever. West Ham have wasted a lot of money, and then more clubs from Saudi. So it just reiterates what we all know, that United have just been mismanaged, that we've had a poor transfer structure in place at United, and we've overspent on so many players. And if you look at some of the signings we've made and the impact they've had or the lack of impact, it's just mind-boggling. Witterbird says, where is Liverpool 500 million of nothing players? I think we might see that in a few years, to be honest with you. I don't think that'll have kicked in just yet, but they've wasted a lot of money. Kevin Credibly says, if we've lost the stats boffins, we're in serious trouble. Real recognises real, says, man, that's damning on our previous recruitment. Not a surprise, though. We can see how bad it has been with our own eyes. That's true. You can just, don't you? You don't need a stat boffin to tell you that our recruitment has been poor. It does seem to have been better more recently, but again, we'll have to see how that pans out, because I like the signings we've made this summer in particular, but we need to see results. Let's talk about Joshua Zirkzee. So this is the Metro. We've spoken about this a couple of times. Agrees January transfer with new club, according to the Metro. And it says here that Zirkzee has agreed to join Roma. I'll take this with a pinch of salt, because Gazzetta dello Sport are saying this. However, it feels like we're jumping the gun a little bit. I don't even know if he's going to go in January. We don't know what's going to happen with players going to the AFCON. They might be back sooner rather than later. We don't know whether the manager's still got faith in him after what was a relatively disappointing performance against Everton, even though he did get a start, so it's not like the manager's completely given up with him. So I'm not sort of getting too carried away with what's happening with Joshua Zirkzee just yet. Makes sense to him to go back to Italy. Did very well at Bologna. Hasn't really done it in the Premier League. And he isn't a goal scorer, is he, Zirkzee? He's not someone who's going to get you 20 goals a season. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like he's a bit all right. I think we need a bit more than that. And also, is he a striker? He's a 9.5, which to me feels more like he's just a 10. I don't know. I was talking to Joe about this last night on Paddock Live, and the issue is, if you've not got Sesko, who's injured at the moment, Chido's probably not ready yet, then what strikers have you got? You can play Mbumo there, you can play Cunha, but if Cunha's injured, we're going to hoping to find out tomorrow just how injured he is. Then do you need Zirkzee? Let me know what you think. Get involved in the comments. Evan Soul says, I'm okay with him potentially going. Yeah, I think there's a lot of feeling around that at the minute. He didn't really help his case, did he, against Everton? I feel sorry for him because he's not started a game in ages. I think that was his first Premier League start in over 200 days. But you've got to seize these opportunities when you get them, and he didn't do that. Let's talk about João Gomez. Man United told 50 million João Gomez offer will be accepted. So look, I'm just using this is from Football Insider or wherever it's from. It's just an interesting talking point in it, because we were mentioning this last night. The Wolves midfielder's been on our radar. He's been linked with us. I don't know how concrete that those rumours are, those reports are. Could we go for him in January? Would it be the answer to our problems? I think a lot depends where Wolves are. So worth keeping an eye on this one. Because if we are going to get anyone in January, maybe Gomez is the option for us. I don't know if we're going to be interested in Baleba the way he's been playing. I don't know if you're going to be able to get Wharton from Palace or Elliot Anderson from Forest in the middle of the season. It depends where Wolves are. If Wolves are in touching distance of staying up, then they might go, well, we're not going to get rid of one of our best players if we're going to stay up. If, however, they're off the pace and they already look doomed, they might just think, sack it, let's just get some money in now and start rebuilding for next season. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know a lot about Gomez. Let me know if you've watched him. I've watched him a couple of times, and do you know what? He's kind of gone under my radar. So I'm not going to pretend that I'm going, oh yeah, we need to get him. I don't really know, is the honest answer. Let's cheer ourselves up before we wrap up. Liverpool are still rubbish. And do you know how you know they're rubbish? Because their own players are saying it. As of now, we're in the SHIT, says Curtis Jones. And he's spot on here. What made me laugh about this, right? Curtis Jones, who's a Scouser in here, they got beat 4-1, I think it was, last night off PSV. He's given an interview after the match, and he's sort of said about, we need to be smashing players, we need to be doing this, we need to be doing that, it's not good enough, da-da-da-da-da. And then after it, I saw Jamie Carragher sort of reacting to it for CBS going, yeah, that's all well and good, but you need to do that. You're part of this team, so you need to do it. So it's just hilarious watching what's going on at Liverpool. It's just a shame we're not better, then I could really revel in it. But we're still sort of stuck in mid-table, and you can't really enjoy it as much as you want to when you've just lost at home to 1-0 to 10-man Everton. But you can still enjoy it a bit, because it will never not be funny. We're going to be back later on today. We're going to have Off the Bar, me, Steve, and Joe Smith. So make sure, if you're not doing so already, you're hitting like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget as well, merchandise. Yeah, we have got some merchandise available. Look, Christmas is nearly here. So get yourself to the Stretford Paddock store. I'll put a little link in the chat here. If you can go and check out the merchandise, got some good stuff there, and it helps support the channel as well. I've been Jay Motti. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.